In October of 2025, I dragged a friend with me to pick up a bunch of models from Facebook Marketplace. There were 12 horses in this lot, and one of them was a Hidalgo body. Now, when I bought this lot, I had no intentions of customizing. I had done them a lot when I was younger, and I would always get frustrated with how it went, so I quit. But this guy kept staring at me, and bugging me, and bugging me. And then he ended up prepped and primed on my makeshift airbrush table with a crappy base coat. I was planning on making him a simple dark bay blanket Appaloosa. If you followed his story on Facebook, you know that's not how it went. I didn't get a whole lot of photos during this stage because I was expecting to get frustrated and give up really, really quickly. That didn't happen. This is where his nickname Traitor started. He kept betraying my expectations. After a couple hours of just messing around, no references, no color charts, just vibes, I ended up with this. By far, one of the best colors I've ever done. I used combinations of burnt sienna, sepia, black, and white. So now, I was deathly afraid of messing up his base color, which I had no idea how I had done in the first place. To give myself some time before possibly wrecking his beautiful coat, I digitally drew up some ideas on my phone for a face marking, and asked around both online and my family on what suited him best. The broken stripe was the winner, with a close second being the large snip. After some recommendations, I bought a new sealer, Tester's Dull Coat, which made the color a lot easier to see. Golden brand paint is really shiny for some reason. At this point, I and pretty much everyone that had seen him really loved the lighter mane and tail. So, I had to figure out how I could give him a silver mane and tail. After some discussion on how I could pull this off, it was determined that to be realistic, I couldn't keep that shade of gray, but I could still give him silver locks if I made it a warmer shade of blonde, kind of. I base coated his mane and tail with Liquitex unbleached titanium, and was already falling in love with how he looked. I sketched out the stripe with a watercolor pencil and filled it in with paint, and added herring details around the edges. I also added a hoof marking just for fun, and totally not because I dropped his foot in the wet paint. So then, I had to tackle airbrushing the mane and tail, which I've never done before. Yay! I started with burnt sienna, and decided to work my way darker to kind of blend it into the body. I got some advice from a friend who helped me get the right technique. I repeated the same thing for the tail. I wasn't super confident in it, but I figured maybe it was just to add an ugly stage. And I was right for the most part. The last bit of black blended it into the body and made it come together really nicely. I then gave him his eyes, which are the nicest eyes I've ever done. There's a trend here. It's almost like when you get older, you have more experience. His hooves were next, and I decided to try and give him detailed hooves, including the striping on his hoof with the marking. Looking back at them, I think I could do better, but at the time, I thought they were fantastic. With the hooves completed, I was finally ready for the final steps. A final seal, and glossing the hooves, eyes, and nostrils, and he'd be finished. My first custom in years. However, disaster struck. So, I'm still not confident why this happened, aside from the fact that I tried to wash him after sealing, with plenty of drying time before I did. Don't do that. I scrubbed at him, I scratched with a fingernail, this stuff was not coming off. After having a minor breakdown, I took the advice I had received and carefully airbrushed over the areas where I could, just using black, avoiding the lighter areas of his body, which I was not confident in color matching. Which restored most of him. The other solution was just seal him again and hope it would go away. I went back to the sealer I used before I had quit, because I felt safer with it. And lo and behold, he was saved. Thank you, Rust-Oleum. So now, after adding the finishing touches, I am able to show you my first completed custom in several years, Dark Traitor. About a month after I finished him, I was able to attend a very small show about 2 hours from me, and they had a custom division. So I decided to bring him along as it was the very first time I would be showing my work. Here you can see him alongside my other models. Not only did he win first in his class, he won champion of the custom division, which I forgot to photograph, And here you can see him displayed with his ribbon alongside two of the oldest customs of mine that I still have. It was very rewarding not only to see him in my fancy display case every day, but to see him with a big ol' ribbon. This project has sparked my creativity again, and I hope to bring you more in the future. Thanks for watching.